Have you ever looked at your smartphone and wondered, how did this little device become the center of my universe? The answer, in large part, leads back to one man, a visionary, a rebel, and a genius who didn't just see the future, but built it. This is the story of Steve Jobs, born in San Francisco in 1955 and adopted shortly after. Steve's journey was unconventional from the start. Growing up in what would become Silicon Valley, he was surrounded by engineers and dreamers. He was a curious kid, but not a model student. He was more interested in tinkering with electronics and exploring counterculture than he was in following the rules. This rebellious spirit, this desire to do things differently, would become his greatest asset. After dropping out of Reed College after just one semester, a decision he later called one of the best he ever made, he traveled to India seeking spiritual enlightenment. This trip profoundly shaped his worldview, emphasizing intuition, simplicity, and a focus on aesthetics. When he returned, he wasn't just a tech enthusiast, he was a man with a philosophy. In 1976, from the humble confines of his parents' garage, Jobs, along with his friend Steve Wozniak, started Apple. Their first product, the Apple I, was a bare circuit board for hobbyists. But Jobs had a bigger vision. He didn't just want to sell to tech nerds. He wanted to bring the power of computing to everyone. This led to the Apple II, one of the first commercially successful personal computers, complete with a keyboard and a sleek plastic case. It was a hit. Apple wasn't just a company anymore. It was a phenomenon. But the path to greatness is rarely a straight line. Jobs was known for his intense, demanding, and often abrasive personality. He pushed his teams to their limits, chasing a standard of perfection that seemed impossible. This relentless drive led to incredible innovations, like the Macintosh, the first mass-market computer with a graphical user interface and a mouse. It was revolutionary. The famous 1984 Super Bowl ad, directed by Ridley Scott, introduced it to the world not just as a product, but as a tool for liberation. Despite this success, internal power struggles and a clash of visions led to the unthinkable. In 1985, Steve Jobs was forced out of Apple, the very company he had co-founded. For many, this would have been the end. But for Steve, it was a new beginning. He called it being fired into success. Freed from the constraints of a large corporation, he founded Next, a company focused on creating high-end computers for the education market. Though not a massive commercial success, Next developed groundbreaking software that would later become the foundation for Apple's modern operating systems. Simultaneously, he acquired a small computer graphics division from George Lucas and transformed it into Pixar Animation Studios. Does that name sound familiar? With films like Toy Story, Pixar didn't just revolutionize animation, it changed filmmaking forever. By the mid-90s, Apple was on the brink of collapse. In a dramatic turn of events, the company bought Next, and in 1997, Steve Jobs returned as CEO. It was the ultimate comeback story. He immediately went to work, trimming the product line and refocusing the company's energy. His new mantra was, "Think different." It wasn't just an ad slogan. It was a declaration of Apple's renewed mission. What followed was perhaps the greatest second act in business history. First came the iMac in 1998, an all-in-one computer that made design as important as function. It was colorful, fun, and easy to use, saving Apple from bankruptcy and re-establishing it as an innovator. Then, in 2001, Jobs unveiled the iPod. It wasn't the first digital music player, but it was the first one that was beautiful, simple, and could hold 1,000 songs in your pocket. Paired with the iTunes Store, it completely transformed the music industry. Apple was no longer just a computer company. But he wasn't done. In 2007, he walked on stage and introduced a product that would change the world forever. He described it as a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communicator. It wasn't 3 separate devices. It was one device, and he called it the iPhone. It put the internet in our pockets, created the app economy, and fundamentally altered how we live, work, and connect with each other. 3 years later, he did it again with the iPad, creating an entirely new category of device between the smartphone and the laptop. Steve Jobs' life was a testament to the power of passion, resilience, and an unwavering belief in your own vision. He was a master storyteller who didn't just sell products, he sold dreams. He insisted that technology should be intuitive, elegant, and empowering. He obsessed over details that others ignored, from the curve of a corner to the feel of a button. He believed that the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. His journey reminds us that our work can be more than just a job. It can be a creative expression, a way to make a contribution. It teaches us that setbacks are not final, and that sometimes the most painful experiences can lead to our greatest growth. Steve Jobs didn't just build a company, he built a legacy that continues to inspire innovators, artists, and dreamers to think differently and to leave their own dent in the universe. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more motivational stories. We'd love to have you as part of our community. See you in the next video.